One of the most significant things mentioned in the monthly report here of August, the Aurora and the Hammerhead are both getting updated to current standards, focusing first on the cockpit and the dashboard views, as well as physicalizing components. Now, the Hammerhead, okay, cool. I mean, it's a multi-crew ship. It's in Squadron 42. It's definitely going to need its update at some point. But the Aurora, look at this. This is the trailer for the Aurora's rework. So it first got released, I think, in 2014. And then it got a bit of an update 3 years later in 2017 for the release of 3.0. But this is the last time this ship really saw an actual update. So we're looking at 8 years now of this. Star Kitten, MVP. So this got it up to standards. Like, the interior definitely looked a lot better. You should have seen the one that was before this. Slight amount of customization options there. But like, this is the most basic ship in the game. This thing's a freaking sardine can. I mean, you can barely even tell where the bed is. The bed's like shoved in the back over here. There's almost nothing to this ship. But it is one of the more common ships in the entire game. I think even Jared revealed that, like, this is the most used ship, so it's clearly in need of an update. It is a very common ship, maybe not the one that people use a lot. You quickly move on from it because you need something that's a little more feature-filled and able to do stuff. But this is their chance. I don't honestly know how much they're going to update it. I think they'll give it components, accessible components, of course. They'll give it weapon racks and cargo as needed, probably. I don't know if they're going to keep the bottom cargo pod that you use right now to store boxes in. But generally, fixing up the shaders, making the geometry look a little better, probably going to make it look a little bit more like Constellation's newer style. So slightly better aesthetics, but I think the ship's mostly going to look the same. The whole point here is to get this to just be on feature parity with other ships. Because, you know, the worst part of this game is going to quickly become not knowing what your ship can do, unless they can start getting ships updated pretty quickly. We're talking about engineering, life support, power management, maelstrom, switchable lights, closable doors. The doors have to be controllable, because now we're going to have a room system where the vacuum can suck out your atmosphere and you have to recharge that yourself. All of these different things need to work on this ship, because this is the ship that most people will be using to start out, and they don't right now. And I think one of the big things CIG's been missing is, like, they got to keep these updated like every couple years. This and the Mustang should be getting regular gold standard updates, even if it doesn't change that much, just because this is a lot of people's first experience of the game. Might as well give it to them good. I wonder what your opinions are on their ability to sell older ships. A lot of the problem people have with Star Citizen is that they keep bringing in ships and selling those instead of maybe fixing or working on the old ones. How do you guys think it would affect their funding if they said, instead of selling this ship, we're gonna remake the Gladiator? It won't be exactly what the ship was. It won't be a different ship, but it's going to be updated, and a whole new slew of people are going to learn about it. You guys think that they would still do well on sales? Because I feel like, for instance, if they reworked the 600i and then put it back on the store with like a big announcement that it's reworked, maybe a new trailer, I think they could get a lot of sales off of the amount of people who have joined since then. And that goes for a lot of ships in this game. If you look at the time since many of the ships have released, like, let's say they went and redid the Buccaneer, brought it up to current standards and did some stuff with it, re-released it with a little bit of showy, put a new sales page on RSI, and like just made new players aware of it. They won't make as much. Definitely not as much as a new sale. But I still think they would make a decent amount of money off of a pretty old ship. and probably not as much work as making a new ship. Yeah, the MSR, the Mercury Star Runner, that could be another one. A lot of these ships end up getting more sales when their gameplay releases and people actually want them. How many people do you think went out and bought a raft during the resource rush if it was available? I don't know if it was available. But things like that can get people to buy old ships again, and I think maybe CIG could use that and start depending on that, because we got to get these ships up to date, you know? Let's take the 600i as an example. Released in 2017. Let's look at how many people have joined since then. Obviously, a lot of those people have bought 600i's in that time. But 2017 is right here, guys. How many? 250,000. 271,000. That's 320. This would be about 770,000. This would be about 1.25 million. This would bring it up to about 2.1 million. From there, we would get to 2.7 million or so. Let's say almost 3.2 million. And then here would be another like 3.6. About 3.6 million accounts have been created since the 600i came out. They got to sell to like less than 1% of those accounts to make decent money from that. Now, obviously, they would want to sell to more than 1% of those people. But like, there's a lot of new people getting into the game that don't know about a lot of these ships that have come out in the past. And there are a lot of ships that have come out in the past that could do with the rework that would probably get people more interested in buying them. Like the Terrapin, for instance. It got reworked when the Terrapin Medic came out. And if it had scanning and radar capabilities, you could bet more people would be interested in buying it. I'm also hopeful, remember those fingers are crossing hard, that all this time it's taken for them to get through engineering is because they want all these ships updated to this system before they introduce engineering to the game, rather than just picking a few ships to test it out on. We can start to see ships more regularly updated to the new system, including old ones, the Gladiator, the MSR, the Constellation, the Aurora, all that kind of stuff. I am very hopeful that that is what's coming, with a shift towards ships being actual ships. But we'll see. Either way, this was a whole rant about really just, can they make better use out of old ships, keeping them up to date and not just creating new ships? And I think there is some room for that. I hope they take it on.